Today, we're going to talk to you about 7 signs to keep going in your online business when it gets tough. And believe us, it does get tough, but it's nothing that you can't figure out or get past. That's coming up. I'm Erin Nicole Bick.
And I'm Brian Garcia. Welcome to Be Adventure Partners, where we help couples escape the box that society tries to keep us in, turn your idea into a really, really sweet business online, and create a life you're actually excited about. And if you haven't yet, be sure to click subscribe and hit that bell so that you're notified every single time we come out with a brand new video on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So like we mentioned, today we're going to share with you 7 signs to keep going your online business when it gets tough. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to read the signs, how to be more observant, and be able to look at your life in a more positive way so you can see what is actually fueling you to keep running, to keep going with this endeavor.
And what's cool about these signs is as you start to identify them in your life, in your business, and what it is that you're creating, there's going to be a time that you're going to be all like, you know what? F this, I quit. But by knowing these signs, you're going to be able to see in yourself that, oh my gosh, this is actually one of those testing grounds. This is that one thing that they talked about, maybe one of those 7 that Brian and Erin talked about that you now know you should keep pressing forward, because it ends up just being a speed bump through your journey and will actually propel you to new heights.
Yeah, that's right. So, number 1, you're facing new struggles. This is a really good sign that you are on the path of evolving. When things get kind of tough, and they do get tough, you'll be able to look around you and say, okay, I'm actually growing. Growing pains are really good. In the moment, they might not feel very good, but as they come up, you can look at your experience and say, hey, this is a new challenge for me. Whenever you're faced with a new challenge, usually that pushes you to learn something new. So as soon as you get to that point when you feel like, okay, I need to learn something new to push past this, that is such a good sign, and you should definitely keep running forward.
Number 2, so this one is where you actually start to gauge your success by the happiness and fulfillment in your life instead of just income. Now, I know that whenever starting a business online, one of the big drivers for a lot of people is, I want to make more money. I want to be able to escape the job that I'm working so I can go travel the world, so I could spend more time with the one I love, so that I can experience a happier and more fulfilled life. Now, here's a little newsflash for you. You don't have to be a millionaire to achieve that. There's this thing that you can calculate that's like your minimum income that you need in order to just get by. Anything over that is absolutely gravy. And that's what gives you the power to start doing what it is that you want to do. So to figure this out, just figure out how much you owe in bills each month and whittle that down. Eliminate things that don't matter in your life so that you can start finding where the happiness lives in your life. It's not about income. We don't work just to pay bills. We work for experiences in our lives. We work to be able to get out, to make an impact in everything that we do. So the moment that you're able to make that switch, and it gives you more opportunity to be able to go, be, do, and have, you're going to experience so much more happiness, so much more fulfillment, because now you have the ability to do what it is that you want to do in your life, in your relationship, and in your online business. And the happiness quotient is going to go straight through the roof. You're going to make more contribution. You're going to have a bigger, greater impact, and potentially create a movement of people who are all gathered around exactly what it is that you have, that you're pushing forward to make a difference in our world, in society. It's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, once you start gauging your success by your happiness, something magical kind of happens. There's a switcheroony. So you actually start attracting success to you, and that could very well be income. I know for us, when we focus on taking care of ourselves, meditating, doing the things that make us happy, like physical activity and being able to cook beautiful meals and drinking more water. I know that's a lot of things, but when we focus on that instead of our business exclusively, there is a shift that happens. We start feeling happier and better in ourselves, better in our relationship. And the cool thing about that is we become more attractive. So you too will become more attractive when you shift your focus and start just thinking, what makes me happy? What makes me feel
Mhm.
fulfilled? And that will attract financial stability and abundance beyond measure to you. Number three, another sign to keep going in your business is that you start to believe that your lessons lead you to victory. This is a really cool turning point when you can start to look at all the things that are coming to you, whether they're good or bad. These are the lessons that lead you through your life. When you can start to see that this is going to take you in a positive direction, the direction that you actually want to be going, this is a really good sign because you can leverage that belief in yourself to keep going, to gain more momentum in your life.
Number four, you're obsessed with your mission. Now, there's a difference between just going to a job because you're trying to make a little bit of cash so you can pay the rent and pay the car bill and pay and pay and pay, and you just keep paying and paying. And then you have this thing called a mission in life. Maybe something that you're drawn to. Maybe it's a cause. Maybe it's something in the world that you want to see, like maybe eliminating plastics from the beaches or increasing the air quality, or maybe just making really cool T-shirts that make people feel good. Like there's all sorts of different things that you could focus on for your mission. So when you start to become obsessed with a particular mission, you start going above and beyond what it is that you would normally do at a job, just sort of getting by sort of thing. You know how it is where, you're in the cubicle. I know this, it was like this for me. I would be in the cubicle and I'd have the monitor faced a certain way so other people couldn't see what I was actually doing on the computer. Just kind of skating by is what most of us called it in the cubicle world before I was a firefighter. But if you are obsessed by something that is bigger than yourself and you're all like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make a huge contribution in our world, guess what? It's going to drive you to wake up earlier in the morning or wake up when you're done sleeping each day. But whenever you are awake and working towards your mission, you're actually doing things that you normally wouldn't do in order to push forward and build it. So things like that could be maybe you're learning to build a website and blog and you want to get your blog on and start to, chronicle your journey and be able to offer really cool things. Or maybe even create a brand message that's going to attract people to what it is that you have passion about.
Mhm.
Start to get focused on what it is that you need to learn in order to get to where you want to go. And guess what? The learning becomes easier. You start to put more effort into what you're doing because you become obsessed. And that is a great place to be because that means you're going to be making a bigger commitment, a bigger contribution, and a bigger impact in what it is that you've got passion and obsession for.
Number five. Now, this is a good one. You're working harder than ever before. Some people might argue with this point, but we think this is really good because if you work harder now, in this moment, you will have what you want a whole heck of a lot sooner. You can start to get systems in place that work for you. And that's a really cool thing about working in the online realm. As an example, Brian and I have created a whole bunch of e-courses that people can take. Heck, while we're recording this video, while you're watching this video, while we're playing on the beach, while you're out doing something, you could have people watching your e-courses while you're having fun. That is such a powerful thing because you only have to create that video one time. It's the same for a blog post. That content is forever. You could do evergreen webinars. Also, content that lasts forever that could be selling something that you offer, whether it's a product or a service. So when you work harder in the moment, when you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm working so hard right now, that's a sign that you are on a mission that you really love. Like Brian was just talking about, when you are really in love with your mission, you will work harder so that you can get your systems in place to start working for you to free up your time later.
I like to call that working harder to work smarter. Number 6. You're taking risks. You're betting on yourself. Now, I know this guy who once said that if I was to bet on anything, I'd bet on myself every single time because you know your commitment level. You know what it is that you want to take risks on. And these risks don't have to be something that's like life and death per se. It could just be like a risk of this type. Let's say you've got a cool idea and you want to create a business online about it. A risk would be setting up your website and blog, starting to market yourself, starting to get your product and service in front of people who would actually use it. The risk is launching. You never know if it's going to be a flyer or not. However, there's some really cool ways to tell whether or not if your idea is actually going to fly or not. And we actually talk about that and get your brand on to see if people are actually looking for what it is that you have an idea about. And when people are, guess what? That is a great risk to take because the probability of you making cash and making a huge impact in other people's lives is a lot higher than if your idea was so off the wall that people weren't really looking for what it is that you're thinking, and you're just breaking the ground on it, which there's some really cool things that you could break the ground on and you could be completely original at. But if you're wanting to start a business online and, start taking risks on yourself, start doing things like learning how to implement the systems required to get a simple business up online and get it up and running. That is a really easy risk to take.
That's right. For some people, it might be starting your business, even, just making the decision to get going in your business. For others, it might be learning something new. It could even be making the decision to go full-time in your business and quit your job. The thing is, when you start betting on yourself, that is you trusting and believing in your own intuition. You start believing in what it is that you are capable of, the effort that you are going to put in to get the result that you desire. So when you take risks on yourself, that is a sure sign that you should keep running with your business because you are showing that you believe in what it is that you can achieve.
Number 7. You see the big picture. Oh my gosh. So this is really, really cool. This is a really cool sign is when you remove yourself from being so zoomed into what you're doing and you can zoom way out and you can start seeing the bigger picture of how everything connects. You see how your website and blog contributes to people's lives, becoming better in some way. You see how the ripple effect of people's lives becoming better in some way, and they're sharing it with their friends and family because it has impacted them so greatly. And you see this huge ripple effect of how the contribution that you're making is going to help you in so many ways. And more importantly, help a lot of people out there. And seeing the bigger picture is one of those things that as an entrepreneur and you're in there working your business constantly, a lot of times it can be fuzzy what that bigger picture is until you press pause sometimes and just step back and see what all it is that you've created, all these little incremental pieces that build up into this beautiful Taj Mahal of a business, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right. When you start to take a look from an outside perspective, like Brian was saying, you start to see, every little piece of content matters. Every piece of content you put out there could be another person connecting with you. It could be another person that you're helping. You're touching their soul. You're building a deeper trust with your audience, which turns them into customers. So every time you put yourself out there, just trust this is a stepping stone, even if it is a trickier stepping stone, or it's a little slippery, or it's a little far at reach. If you really believe, hey, I've got this, I see the big picture. I know where it is that I want to go. And these are the little things. These are the small details that build up to the big thing. Trust in that, and you will go so far. That's actually exactly why we put together the Be a Venture Partners roadmap, was so that you can see the stepping stones along the way, all the stops on your journey. You can forecast them out so you understand how to take your idea and grow and scale it into a business. Look at your life like a roadmap. Everything that you want, there's little stops along the way that create that journey. Whether it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, those stops along the way all contribute to something that you really want, and it is there waiting for you.
So we hope this video has helped you see the different signs and step back and just really be able to see the bigger picture, and to know that when you feel like quitting, that's probably a good sign that you need to keep on going. Got questions or comments? Go ahead and leave them below. We'll get back with you as soon as possible. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button and hit that bell to get notified every single time we come out with a new video on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you are stuck and you're just like, you know what, I wish I had a really cool idea, check out this video right over here, because that video right there is actually going to help you with the whole idea strategy. So until next time, friend.
Adventure on.
Adventure on.